Hello everyone and welcome to another Tasmanian horse racing preview, and today I'm previewing one of the biggest horse races in Tasmania alongside the Launceston Cup, and this race is the Group 3 Betfair Exchange Hobart Cup, which has ran over 2,400 metres. Now the race will start at 4:35 PM Australian Eastern Time, and the field, well, it was at 15 horses. It's now reduced down to 14 horses after the late scratching, or not the late scratching, but the early scratching of Metrophetical, who is a Peter Moody trained horse who was going to be ridden by Damien Oliver. So that's a bit of a shame. Damien Oliver won't be aboard Metrophetical because it is scratched from the race, but we have a very strong field still, no doubt about it. So without further ado, let's get straight in to the field and have a look at the horses. At the top of the field, a Brighton trained horse, trained by Stuart Gandy, is Gigi's Golden Girl, who's coming out of Barrier 11. This horse won the Devonport Cup just a few weeks ago, earlier last month. That was the 6th of January. And that race was ran over 1,880 metres. It has a win range of 1,100 metres to 2,100 metres. It definitely is a very good chance of winning the race. It's actually a $6.50 chance of winning the race. It will probably at least place. Whether it wins or not, well, it's definitely a very good chance. Coming in at number 3, we have Quick Strike, who is a Chris Waller trained horse. Now this horse will come out of Barrier 2, and the jockey for this race will be Craig Williams. Of course, everyone knows Craig Williams. And the win range for Quick Strike is 1,550 to 1,900. Now looking at its last 5 races, they've all been ran over the 2,000 metre distance. And having a look at its last 5, 4th, 2nd, 5th, 4th, 3rd was its placings. I reckon this is a very good chance to win the race. I reckon at least placing is definitely on the cards. It is a $6 chance of winning the race. So I reckon it'll be up there, even though it's only come 4th, 2nd, 5th in its last 3 races. I reckon it can run the distance and be a very good chance of winning the race, no doubt about it. Coming in at number 4, we have another Brighton trained horse, trained by Stuart Gandy, and that horse is number 4, Gigi's LaQuita, who is coming out of Barrier 6, backed by the punters at $151. Its last 5 races, 6, 11, 7, 6 and 9th, and has a win range of 1,400 metres to 2,200 metres. A very, very low chance of even placing for the race, and no doubt winning the race, no doubt about it. So probably not much of a chance. I'm not really giving it much of a chance. It probably at the back of the field, probably up the straight will be at the back of the field, I reckon. At number 5, one of the favourites, Walls, who is coming out of Barrier 12 and is jockeyed by Stephen King. Its last 5 races, 1, 10th, 2nd, 7th and 4th. Its last race, it ran a distance of 2,040 metres, has a win range of 1,200 metres to 2,040 metres, backed by the punters at $4.40, so it's definitely up there as one of the high favourites for the Hobart Cup. Coming in at number 6, a good old 7 Mile Beach trained horse, and that horse is Up Cups, who is coming out of Barrier 8 and has a win range of 1,000 metres to 2,200 metres. I reckon this is a very good horse to have a look at because he's a good chance to win the race. He's backed by the punters at $6. His last 5 races, first, second, 6th and 3rd, the last 2 over the 2,000 metre distance. I reckon he's a good chance. I'm going to say this. He's a good chance to at least place. I'm not sure if he'll win it, but he's definitely up there in the top 5, no doubt about that. Backed by the punters at $9 is one of the roughies for me, and that horse is number 7, PlayerOne, who is coming from barrier 4, and is a Brighton trained horse again. Not trained by Stuart Gandy though, he's actually trained by Max Cowan. Has a win range of 1,400 metres to 2,100 metres. Has been racing on racetracks in Hobart and Launceston in his last 5 races, 3rd, 2nd, 7th, 3rd and 1st. The last 2 have been over that 2,000 metre distance. So he's one of the roughies for me and has the potential of getting up. Coming in at number 8 on the field, we have Mr. Money Penny, who is coming from barrier 10 and has a win range of 1,000 to 2,000 metres. Having a look at his last 5 race meetings, not the best record, no doubt about that. And its last race, it come last out of the 12 horses. That was at Launceston. Come 7th in the Devonport Cup. So he is competing against the Devonport Cup winner, who he would have rode against, and that was, of course, GG's Golden Girl, as we mentioned earlier in the preview. Not much of a chance. Backed by the punters at $126. Yeah, not a very good record in his last 5 races, so it's a bit of a worry. Number 9, probably one of the other roughies alongside PlayerOne. We have number 9, Believe You, who is going to be ridden by none other than the Melbourne Cup jockey, the Melbourne Cup winning jockey of last year in the 2015 Melbourne Cup. That was Michelle Payne. She's on board Believe You, who is coming from barrier 5, has a win range of 1,612 as I look at my notes there, to 3,200 metres. I reckon this is a roughie as well, because the winning distance, you can see there, the horse actually looks like it does a lot better in longer distances. So last time at Moonee Valley, it ran over 2,040 metres. It comes 2nd out of the 10 horses. Back in May 2015, this is where it kind of stirs me a little bit, because it hasn't been in this better form that it had last May. Where it's at now, it's not that form, because it come first in 2 of its races back then in May, and both of them were over 3,000 metres. So I reckon it's a roughie. I reckon it can get up and place, but then that kind of stirs me, the form it's been in the last 3 race meetings, because 2nd, 9th and 11th is probably not that good. But it has been at racetracks like Moonee Valley and Caulfield. I'm sure with Michelle Payne on it though, it is going to be a very good chance of getting up. Number 10, trained at Broadmarsh, we have Hugo coming out of barrier 3, a win range of 1,350 metres to 2,100 metres. Its last 5 races, 1st, 2nd, 5th, 2nd, 2nd. Its last race, 2,100 metres. That's the distance the race was ran at. Probably one of the other roughies of the race too, alongside Believe You and PlayerOne. Backed by the punters at $18. So if you want to have a bet on a roughie, then I reckon that's the one to go for, because I reckon it could be there at the end of the race. So I'm thinking maybe 3rd. Number 11, backed by the punters at $51. So not much of a chance to win the race. Trained by Barry Campbell, coming out of barrier 13, we have Aventator, who is in its last 5 races, 7th, 4th, 3rd, 1st, 1st. Got 4th in the Devonport Cup, so another horse that ran in the Devonport Cup earlier last month. So win range of 1,200 to 2,100 metres. So that is that horse. Number 12, we have Otah, who in its last 5 races, 2nd, 3rd, 13th, 4th and 6th. Coming out of barrier 15. Having a look at my notes here, it is a 7 mile beach trained horse. Win range of 1,300 metres to 2,400 metres, so has a really good win range, especially at the 2,400 metres. If a horse has that next to it, then it is sort of a chance. But it's only backed at $61 by the punters, and its form lately hasn't been convincing. So not giving it much of a chance, but it could be one to look out for, especially that it can run that distance. You never know. Next up at number 13, we have Smokin' Whiskey, who is a John Blacker trained horse coming out of Barrier 9. So it is a Longford trained horse. Its win range 1,400 metres to 1,600 metres. In its last 5 races, third, second, third, 6. Only backed by the punters by $51. So it doesn't look like it could run that kind of distance that the Hobart Cup is ran at. But it could be one to look out for, especially with its form. It hasn't been that bad over the last 5 races. Its last race that that horse ran, Smokin' Whiskey, was the 27th of January. So that was only a couple of weeks ago. So might be worth putting a $1 bet on. You never know. Number 14, we have Milson, who is a Julia Richards trained horse and is trained at Roaches Beach. Has a win range of 1,400 metres to 2,150 metres, coming from Barrier 1. In its last 5 race meetings, 4th, 6th, 3rd, 2nd and 1st, and is backed by the punters at $81. And finally, number 15, rounding out the field, is Sinless Stone. In its last 4 races came 4th, 4th, 6th and 2nd. It's coming out of Barrier 7. It's trained by Troy Blacker, who's training the horse at Longford. It's backed by the punters at $41. So yeah, it doesn't really look like much of a chance, but you never know, I suppose. So that's it for the field. We'll now have a look at my placings for the race as well as my roughies for the race. So let's get into that. So my tip to win the race is Quick Strike, who will be ridden by Craig Williams. I just like its form and the distance it's been running. It looks to be running pretty good distance and going okay. So my first placed horse is Quick Strike, followed by the local horse, the local Brighton trained horse, trained by Stuart Gandy. I've got GG's Golden Girl, of course, won the Devonport Cup. I think it's going to be there in the placings, and I think it is going to come second. And then in third, I'm going to go Hugo, which I really like. I think he's the best backed roughie. I think looking at his form and looking at the distance, it was hard to go. I was thinking of either going with him or Believe You. Hugo won for me in the end. I think Believe You just a close fourth with Hugo. But I think Hugo will get up and come third, I think. And my roughies for the race, ones to possibly punt on and they might get up. I've got obviously Hugo, who I've just tipped to come third. And I'm also going to go Believe You, who is going to be ridden by Michelle Payne, the Melbourne Cup winner of last year. So they're my roughies for the Hobart Cup for 2016. And thank you very much for watching my preview of the Betfair Exchange Hobart Cup. I'm really looking forward to the race because it's got so much mixture of horses from interstate and then local horses that are doing so well. It's going to be a very interesting race. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be there at UBET Park. Of course, follow my Twitter updates. I'm going to be updating on my Twitter at Bevob5 as well as the Bevob5 Productions Twitter at Bevob5P throughout the race meeting. So for my tips on other races and all that sort of stuff, then you can follow me on Twitter. And also don't forget to like, comment, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe because I've got so much other content, not only horse racing content, but also the weekly sports feature every Tuesday and AFL shows coming soon. I've got so much other content coming, it's blowing out of my ears. So do subscribe because it will be worth it. So that is it for the Hobart Cup preview for 2016. I'm your host, Jacob. Until next time, bye for now.